In the vibrant city of Karachi, Pakistan, lived Sadia Ali, a young woman known for her quiet strength and unwavering devotion to Islam. Sadia, 23, was the eldest daughter in a middle-class family that had always struggled to make ends meet. Despite the financial hardships, Sadia's parents, Hassan and Zainab, had raised their children with strong moral values, and Sadia had grown up with a deep sense of responsibility toward her family and her faith. Sadia's life revolved around her studies, her part-time job at a local bookstore, and her faith. She prayed 5 times a day, read the Quran regularly, and was actively involved in the local mosque's women's group, where she taught young girls about the importance of living a life guided by Islamic principles. Her dedication to Islam was evident in everything she did, and she often found herself turning to prayer whenever life became overwhelming. Hassan and Zainab, although proud of their daughter's piety, were worried about her future. They knew that finding a suitable husband for Sadia would not be easy, given their financial situation and the fact that Sadia was so particular about her faith. Sadia had made it clear that she would only marry a man who shared her devotion to Islam, someone who would lead her in prayer and help her grow spiritually. Marriage proposals came and went, but none of them seemed right to Sadia. Some were from wealthy families who were more interested in appearances than faith, while others were from men who, although kind, didn't share Sadia's level of religious commitment. Sadia's parents grew increasingly anxious, fearing that their daughter's chances of marriage were slipping away. But Sadia remained patient, believing that Allah had a plan for her. She prayed fervently for guidance, asking Allah to send her a righteous partner who would be a source of strength and support in her life. One day, during a Friday sermon at the mosque, Sadia noticed a young man, Fahad Khan, who had recently moved to Karachi from Islamabad. Fahad was in his late 20s, with a calm and composed demeanor that immediately caught Sadia's attention. He had come to the city to work as an engineer for a well-known firm, but had quickly become involved in the local Islamic community. Fahad was known for his humility and his commitment to his faith. He led the prayers at the mosque on occasion and was deeply respected by the elders for his knowledge of the Quran and Hadith. Sadia found herself drawn to Fahad's sincerity and his dedication to living a life in accordance with Islamic teachings. As the weeks passed, Sadia and Fahad began to notice each other more frequently at the mosque and during community events. They exchanged polite greetings, but their interactions remained limited to brief conversations about religious matters. However, it was clear to both of them that they shared a deep connection based on their mutual love for Islam. Fahad, too, had been observing Sadia from afar. He admired her quiet strength, her modesty, and the way she carried herself with dignity. After much prayer and contemplation, Fahad decided to approach his family about proposing to Sadia. He knew that she was the kind of woman he had always hoped to marry, someone who would be his partner in faith and life. When Fahad's proposal reached Sadia's family, Hassan and Zainab were overjoyed. Fahad's reputation as a pious and hard-working man had preceded him, and they knew that he would be a good match for their daughter. Sadia, after praying for guidance, felt a deep sense of peace about the proposal. She believed that Fahad was the answer to her prayers, the man who would help her continue her spiritual journey. The wedding preparations began, and soon the date was set. Sadia and Fahad's families worked together to plan a simple yet beautiful ceremony that would reflect the couple's commitment to their faith. Sadia's friends and relatives gathered to celebrate, and the atmosphere was filled with joy and anticipation. However, Just days before the wedding, tragedy struck. Hassan, who had been struggling with a heart condition for years, suddenly collapsed while at work. He was rushed to the hospital, where doctors informed the family that he had suffered a severe heart attack. The prognosis was grim, and the doctors warned that Hassan might not survive. Sadia was devastated. Her father had always been her rock, the one who had guided her in her faith and supported her every decision. The thought of losing him was unbearable. As she sat by his bedside, tears streaming down her face, Sadia prayed like she had never prayed before. She begged Allah to spare her father's life, to give them more time together. Fahad, upon hearing the news, rushed to the hospital to be by Sadia's side. He held her hand, offering words of comfort and encouragement. "Allah is with us," he said softly. "Whatever happens, we must trust in His plan." Days passed, and Hassan's condition remained critical. The wedding date approached, but Sadia's heart was too heavy with grief to think about anything other than her father's recovery. She wanted to postpone the wedding, but Hassan, who had regained consciousness, insisted that the ceremony go ahead as planned. "Sadia, my dear," he said weakly, "I may not have much time left, but I want to see you married. This is Allah's will. Fahad is a good man, and I know he will take care of you. Let the wedding happen, and trust that Allah will do what is best." With a heavy heart, Sadia agreed to go through with the wedding. The ceremony was moved to the hospital, where Hassan could be present. The event was simple, with only close family and friends in attendance. Sadia wore a modest white dress, and Fahad donned a traditional sherwani. They exchanged vows, promising to support each other in faith and life, as Hassan watched with tears of pride in his eyes. The moment was bittersweet. Sadia was overjoyed to be married to Fahad, but her heart ached for her father, whose health was rapidly declining. As the wedding concluded, Hassan took Sadia's hand and whispered, "Remember, my daughter, that Allah is always with you, no matter what happens. Keep your faith strong." 2 days after the wedding, Hassan passed away peacefully in his sleep. Sadia was heartbroken, but she took comfort in the fact that her father had been there to witness her marriage. She knew that his passing was part of Allah's plan, and that he was now in a better place. As Sadia and Fahad began their life together, they faced many challenges. Grieving the loss of her father, Sadia struggled to find joy in her new life. But Fahad was a source of unwavering support, constantly reminding her of the strength of her faith and the importance of trusting in Allah's will. Over time, Sadia found solace in her prayers and in the knowledge that her father had left this world with a heart full of love and pride for his daughter. And she and Fahad became even more committed to their faith, supporting each other through the highs and lows of life. The couple went on to have a family, raising their children with the same values that had guided them. They taught their children to love Allah above all else, to trust in His plan, and to live their lives with integrity and faith. Sadia never forgot the lessons her father had taught her, and she carried his words in her heart for the rest of her life. She knew that life would always have its trials, but she also knew that with faith and patience, anything was possible. And so, Sadia and Fahad's story became one of resilience, love, and unwavering devotion to Allah. They faced their challenges with grace, always turning to their faith for strength and guidance. Their lives were a testament to the power of true faith, and they were rewarded with a life full of blessings, love, and the peace that comes from knowing they had lived in accordance with the will of Allah In the picturesque town of Aspen, Colorado, nestled among the snow-capped mountains, lived Emma Collins. Emma, at 26, was a kind-hearted and passionate woman who worked as a teacher at the local elementary school. She had a love for nature and spent her free time hiking through the serene trails, finding peace in the beauty around her. In the picturesque town of Aspen, Colorado, nestled among the snow-capped mountains, lived Emma Collins. Emma, at 26, was a kind-hearted and passionate woman who worked as a teacher at the local elementary school. She had a love for nature and spent her free time hiking through the serene trails, finding peace in the beauty around her. Emma's life was simple but fulfilling. She lived in a cozy cottage at the edge of town, where the pine trees whispered secrets to the wind and the stars shone brightly at night. The community adored her, not just for her dedication to the children she taught, but for her warmth and generosity. Emma was the kind of person who would stop to help a neighbor in need or offer a comforting word to anyone feeling down. One crisp autumn day, as the leaves turned shades of gold and crimson, Emma met Liam Thompson, a 32-year-old architect who had recently moved to Aspen from New York City. Liam had left behind the bustling city life in search of a quieter, more meaningful existence. He had taken up a project to design eco-friendly homes that blended seamlessly with the natural surroundings, hoping to make a difference in the world while pursuing his passion. Their paths crossed at a local farmer's market, where Emma was picking out fresh produce for her week's meals. Liam, new to the town and still adjusting to the slower pace of life, found himself drawn to the vibrant colors and the lively atmosphere. When he accidentally bumped into Emma, causing her basket of apples to tumble to the ground, he was instantly captivated by her smile as she laughed it off. Apologizing profusely, Liam helped her gather the scattered apples, and they struck up a conversation. Emma's genuine kindness and easygoing nature put Liam at ease, and before they knew it, they were walking through the market together, talking about their lives and their love for the outdoors. As the weeks passed, Emma and Liam's friendship blossomed into something deeper. They spent their weekends exploring the trails, sharing stories around campfires, and enjoying the simple pleasures of life in Aspen. Emma found in Liam a kindred spirit, someone who understood her love for nature and shared her values of kindness and community. Liam, in turn, was enchanted by Emma's ability to find beauty in the smallest things: a wildflower growing by the roadside, the sound of a stream trickling over rocks, the laughter of children playing in the schoolyard. He admired her selflessness and the way she made everyone around her feel valued and loved. One evening, as the first snowflakes of winter began to fall, Liam took Emma to a secluded spot in the woods, where he had built a small wooden bridge over a frozen stream. The bridge, illuminated by soft lanterns, was a gift for Emma, a symbol of the connection they had forged and the journey they were on together. Standing on the bridge, with the world around them hushed by the snow, Liam confessed his love for Emma. He spoke of how she had brought light into his life, how her kindness and love had made him a better person. With tears of joy in her eyes, Emma told Liam that she had fallen in love with him too, that he had filled her heart with happiness she hadn't known was possible. That winter was the most magical season of their lives. They spent their days planning Liam's eco-friendly homes, which would later become a model for sustainable living in the town, and their nights dreaming of the future they would build together. The town of Aspen, already close-knit, rallied around the couple, celebrating their love as if it were a blessing for the entire community. As spring arrived, Liam proposed to Emma in the meadow, where wildflowers had just begun to bloom. It was a simple, heartfelt proposal, with a ring that Liam had designed himself, inspired by the beauty of the mountains and the stars that had watched over their love. Emma said yes, her heart overflowing with joy. Their wedding was held outdoors, surrounded by the mountains they both loved so much. It was a small, intimate ceremony, attended by their closest friends and family. The air was filled with the scent of pine and the sound of birds singing as they exchanged vows, promising to cherish and support each other for the rest of their lives. After the wedding, Emma and Liam continued to live in Aspen, where they started a family and grew even more deeply connected to their community. They built a life rooted in love, kindness, and a shared passion for nature. Liam's eco-friendly homes became a symbol of their commitment to living harmoniously with the earth, and Emma's students continued to thrive under her guidance and care. Years later, as they sat on the porch of their cottage, watching their children play in the yard, Emma and Liam reflected on the journey they had taken together. They had faced challenges, as all couples do, but their love had only grown stronger with time. The simple life they had built was more beautiful than they could have ever imagined, filled with love, laughter, and the peace that comes from knowing you are exactly where you are meant to be. In the end, it wasn't grand gestures or the big moments that defined their love, but the everyday acts of kindness, the shared dreams, and the deep understanding they had of each other. Emma and Liam's love story was a testament to the beauty of a life lived with purpose and a heart open to love. And as they held hands, watching the sun set behind the mountains, they knew that their love was the greatest adventure of all.